Surrey versus Langley, the ultimate showdown for residents south of the Fraser River in the lower mainland of British Columbia. Which is the better neighborhood to call home? Both are relatively unique. They are incredibly different from each other, and many home buyers either pick one or the other without any sort of regard for living in the other community. So which one would you pick? And I know what you're thinking. How different really could these communities be? I mean, they neighbor each other, they're both in the Fraser Valley, and they relatively have access to the same sort of weather, amenities, that sort of thing. Well, and part of that would be correct. They do share many common traits, like they're both governed by the Fraser Health Services, who's responsible for our medical services, hospitals, doctors, all that sort of stuff. They're both located in a similar area, so the weather patterns, well, they don't really have much difference to them either. But it's more about what you're gonna get when you actually live in these communities. So for the purpose of this video, we're gonna break it up into 3 key areas. We're gonna cover the real estate market and the values of homes in each area. We'll also cover the lifestyle and amenities that you would generally get living in each neighborhood. And lastly, we will talk about something that is growingly more important: transportation and commutes. This video is going to move quick, so I want to suggest that you hang around to the end because I've got a question for you. Plus, I'm gonna let you know how you can get your hands on one of 20 $350 value course admissions for absolutely free. So if that sounds good, let's get into it. Hey, I'm Darren, team leader of a top performing real estate team serving Surrey, BC and the surrounding areas. You might have seen me featured in big media like on Global TV, CTV, or in various newsprints like Business in Vancouver or the Georgia Strait. I created this YouTube channel to help you learn all about the areas of White Rock and Surrey, BC, and to offer a trusted voice for everything going on with real estate in British Columbia. Our team has helped hundreds and hundreds of people just like you buy or sell a home. So if you find yourself looking for help, connect with us by checking out the video description below, where you'll also find tons of valuable information and downloads for both home buyers and sellers. Now, enjoy the video. If you're someone that's been considering relocating to maybe either Surrey or Langley, British Columbia, you may have found yourself struggling between which community to really choose. And there tends to be sub areas in both communities that people really love. They both have incredible neighborhoods that anyone would be lucky to call home. But generally speaking, how do you know which community is right for you, whether it be Surrey or Langley? How do you get the vibe? How do you know where your money goes the furthest? Well, that's exactly what this video is for. Let's jump right into real estate and real estate values in the various communities. Now, for years and years, Langley tended to trail that of Surrey, being a less expensive community to call home, a more rural community. But this has changed over the years, and in fact, as of today, this is no longer the case. Average home prices in the city of Surrey combined for detached homes are $1,647,000, townhomes $872,000, and condominiums $541,000. Compare this with that of Langley, where you're going to get an average home for a very similar number of $1,647,000. Townhomes slightly more expensive at $884,000, and condominiums much more expensive at a whopping $611,000. Now, it's worth mentioning when you're considering both the neighborhoods that Surrey is the fastest growing municipality in British Columbia and one of the fastest growing municipalities in all of Canada. In fact, it's expected that its population will overtake the most populous city of the entire province, which is Vancouver, before the end of this decade. That means lots of development and lots more to come for the city of Surrey. Now, compare that to the city of Langley, which traditionally was much more of a rural community. This is no longer quite the case with all of the development that has been happening in areas like Willoughby, and generally anything kind of along the 200th Avenue, one of the most major corridors in the Langley area. With that being said, the back east part of Langley is still relatively rural, and you can get a little more quiet and peace in those different areas. There is a lot of rapid development happening in Langley as well, and areas like Brookswood or Willoughby are definitely making Langley a hotspot for new builds and more modern developments. Let's jump over now to lifestyle and amenities, and this is a big box to unpack, so we're going to try and keep this a little tighter and a little more succinct. When it comes to Surrey, Surrey is incredibly diverse, not only in its communities but also in the people that live there. In fact, Surrey is one of the most diverse communities in all of Canada. It has a mix of well-established and newer neighborhoods offering everything from urban convenience to quieter suburban areas. It also has a ton of outdoor space as well, home to over 200 parks, including Crescent Beach, Tynehead Park, and Bear Creek Park, providing outdoor activities and an outdoor lifestyle for all. And lastly, shopping and dining. Well, Surrey is known for its major shopping centers like Guildford Town Centre and Central City Mall. Plus, you've also got the outdoor shops in the Grandview area of South Surrey. Add this to a growing list of a variety of international cuisines being offered and top-tier restaurants in Surrey. It's a great place to visit, to raise a family, and just generally to call home. Now, let's get into what Langley has to offer. Langley balances a small town feel with access to modern conveniences, appealing to families and those seeking a quieter lifestyle. Very similar to Surrey, it does offer lots of outdoor recreation, but is better known for its wineries, Campbell Valley Regional Park, and an equestrian culture, boasting many farms and agricultural land located on the ALR, or Agricultural Land Reserve lands, towards the eastern border of Langley, which is shared with the city of Abbotsford. Getting away from some of the hustle and bustle of the downtown areas of Langley, if you're looking for a slower pace of life, Langley can definitely offer you that. It is also very family orientated, with a variety of family-friendly amenities, including a strong school system, local parks, and community centers like the Langley Event Center. We're going to jump over to transportation and commuting now, because there is tons of job opportunities, not only in the Fraser Valley, but both in Surrey and Langley. So if you're someone that's relocating here, you don't need to be quite so worried about looking for employment, but you might be more worried about how you're going to get there in the first place. I'll start this off by saying that Surrey has much better transportation options than that of Langley. Now, there is stuff coming in the future, but let's dive into Surrey first. So number one, Surrey has a SkyTrain line. This is called the Expo line, which currently runs from downtown Surrey into the area of Vancouver, cutting through the Lower Mainland. This means Surrey is relatively connected to all the other areas in the Lower Mainland because of the SkyTrain line. Now, the good news is this SkyTrain line is also due to be extended. So work is currently progressing on building out this line all the way to Langley. Now, while the city of Langley will only have one stop on the entire SkyTrain line, this new SkyTrain line will cut through the entire city of Surrey all the way down Fraser Highway. And it's due to be complete in late 2029, until that potentially changes again. You've also got great highway connections in Surrey, direct access to Highway 1, Highway 99, and Highway 17 for easy travel to Vancouver, Richmond, and the US border. Furthermore, Surrey has a variety, actually, in fact, they have 4 significant bus depots in the area, so it makes it quite easy to take transit to transit. So if you're someone that does not own a car, it's a lot easier to get around in the city of Surrey. So what's Langley got going on for transportation and commuting? Well, as I mentioned, they will have a new SkyTrain station towards the end of 2029, beginning in 2030, but that's really the only stop that is available. Now, the great news about living in Langley is you have Highway 1 cutting through the bulk of Langley, with lots of access points all throughout Langley to jump on Highway 1. So if you're heading into the Vancouver area or you're heading east into the mountains, you can easily jump onto Highway 1 to get around. I think it's safe to say, however, that the transportation options in the city of Surrey, commuting, and just generally getting around are much more convenient than they are in Langley, albeit there's probably a lot more traffic in the city of Surrey than there is in Langley, excluding the 200th Street, because that gets pretty busy. If you're considering moving either to Surrey or Langley, I'm going to give you my top pick for each neighborhood that I think you would want to consider first. If you're considering relocating to the area of Langley, you're definitely going to want to investigate the Brookswood neighborhood. A little bit less populated, a little slower moving, bigger properties, and a little more of that small town feel that so many people love about Langley. Now, if you're coming to the city of Surrey, you're definitely going to want to investigate my favorite neighborhood, which is the South Surrey neighborhood. Again, it's a little bit quieter. Let's face it, I'm getting older and I like quiet more than the hustle and bustle, but it is a very well put together community that is one of the crown jewels of all of the Fraser Valley, which many people that live in the Lower Mainland of British Columbia strive to call home at one point in their lives. So now that you've learned a little bit about both Surrey and Langley and how they compare to each other, I would love for you to let me know which area you think is better and why. Leave me a comment below. If you're a local that's watching this video, do you prefer Surrey? And if so, what area specifically do you prefer? Or if you prefer Langley, what area specifically do you prefer and why? Let the people know in the comments below. And if you're someone from out of town that has no idea about either area, even after watching this video, ask your questions below in our community that watches these videos will help you get the information that you're looking for. Now, before I remind you to subscribe so you do not miss out on any updates regarding the Surrey BC market, the White Rock real estate market, or anything to do with British Columbia real estate in general, I want to let you know how to get your hands on one of 20 free admissions to our BC Home Buyers course. Over 3 hours of video downloads, PDFs, and questionnaires to help you buy a home like a pro, no matter whether you buy in the marketplace that me and my real estate team serve or anywhere in British Columbia. This is going to help you avoid some of the major pitfalls that sting so many home buyers. We're giving away 20 free admissions, and you have your chance to get your hands on at least one of those. So make sure to grab yours today before they all get snapped up. If you enjoyed this video and learning all about Langley versus Surrey, we do deep dives on everything to do with the city of Surrey on our Living in Surrey playlist, and you can learn everything you could ever want to know about the community there. And you also can learn a little bit about the community coming up in this next video right here. We'll see you on the next one. Cheers.